Did you speak to Lex and tell her not to speak to Aiden? Yes or no?
I sent her a message.
You got emotional. You got on your emotions because you're annoyed with him. Let's be real here. This is nothing.
I've always said that. I've always said that. Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
All right.
I'm bitterly disappointed by your behaviour, to be very frank with you.
What is your understanding of my behavior? What is your understanding of the situation?
So, as it was laid out by yourself earlier, it's that Aiden had asked in an annoying fashion if you could get in touch with Lex on his behalf. You didn't want to do that. Right? And then later on, you found out that Aiden had got the contact info anyway and was being smug about it. And you interjected yourself to tell Lex not to talk to him.
Well, there is a bit more context to that than that. So the message that I showed to, the messages that I showed to Morale that he showed on stream. So that was the only time that Aiden actually asked me for anything. So that was after, the DM logs were done and leaked and everything. He asks me, "Do you have Alex's Discord?" I ask him why. He says to harass her. Obviously, I never thought that was serious. I respond in a similar and serious way. I disavow. That was the end of the conversation.
Okay, but wait, you said you didn't think it was serious, but then you didn't want to put her in touch with him because you thought that would be bad optics.
No, I agree, because I don't know, as in I agree with that statement that I made. When I say I never thought it was serious, I never thought that he was actually.
It sounds like you're panicking and it sounds like you're coping. What is just the facts of the matter? What is going on? Okay, well, what is going on? Just tell me the fucking truth of what's going on right now. Plain and simple.
Well, okay, plain and simple is that Aiden was spurging out and schizoing out, dragging me for absolutely no reason, as if I didn't give him something that he wanted for days before I ever sent any message to Lex.
So he was just being an annoying little wretch, and you thought you'd ruin his conversation. That's what I'm getting from this.
I did not ruin any conversation.
Did you speak to Lex and tell her not to speak to Aiden? Yes or no?
I sent her a message, and basically I sent a screenshot of it, a spicy chat that is just me saying, "FYI, don't talk to Aiden." And that was way after every. Okay, I'm trying to structure my thoughts, because obviously I am stressed out because I think that Aiden went about obtaining the Lex interview in a completely retarded and schizophrenic way. When he asked me for that, for her ad 2 weeks ago, and we had that conversation, no, I don't think he was actually going to harass her, but I have no idea what his intentions were. It wasn't a request I want to interview her, I want to speak with her. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get involved. It is bad optics for me to give an ad and then end up in a situation.
But earlier when you said to Morale, it seemed like you were saying that because of his message about the harassing aspect, that was the bad optics. It would be bad optics to get involved because your presumption was he was going to harass her. But now you're saying you knew it was a joke.
No, I maintain that it was bad optics for me to give him the ad based on just that request alone. And then, because then what am I trying to facilitate getting this bitch onto an adversarial conversation?
Why would you care about that? She tried to sue you and fuck with you.
All I did, this was 2 weeks ago. That was the entire conversation. I asked him why. He says to harass her, say I disavow. That was it. Aiden immediately goes to Spicy Chat and starts complaining how I didn't give him the ad. I don't say anything to that. Then when he streamed about Lex's song, I guess 2 days ago, and I was in chat, and I mentioned that after I left a comment on her song, she DM'd me basically to say, "Oh, tell all the commentary they can use my song." So Aiden starts berging out excitedly, be like, "Oh, get her to call in, and I just say in chat, no, because again, I'm not getting involved. Once again, he goes to Spicy Chat and starts complaining he says, I wanted the Lex interview, but Hellbent refused to ask her because she sucks. And then he keeps
Why are all
bringing
of
up
you
as if
people arguing via spicy chat? What the fuck is going on here? This is absurd. Why? It feels like you're trying to get one up on each other and some shit a part of my community.
Well, yeah.
Why? There are a bunch of antisocial freaks in there. Do you know what they were doing on Christmas? They were probably all fucking posting bullshit in there.
Definitely posting bullshit in there. You could definitely say that I stooped to the same level as Aiden, and I, retaliated in a.
So Aiden was bragging about getting
manner.
these details and was going to get an interview, and you thought, well, fuck you, and so you spoke to Lex.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't him. Well, obviously, yeah, I did after he bragged about it, but it wasn't that annoyed me to the point where I retaliated in that way. It was that he kept shit talking me like for days in the context of like I was blocking or not getting him something that he deserved, but he never properly asked for anything. He kept complaining that like, Hellbent wouldn't give me the ad, like, oh, she wouldn't get me the Lex interview, and like he never asked me properly. He just yelled and screamed like a retard on his stream.
Okay, I feel like you're trying to get around this, but fundamentally you were annoyed with him, and so you decided to intervene to stop the conversation from happening.
I would not say that I stopped the conversation from happening.
How would you describe it?
I would describe that I took a screenshot of me sending Lex a message, FYI, don't talk to Aiden, and I immediately sent it to Spice Chat. It wasn't anything underhanded, but that had absolutely zero effect on anything.
So you said to Lex not to speak to Aiden to show off to Spicy Chat.
Well, not to show off the Spicy Chat, but to retaliate for him being annoying for days. Yes, he got to me. I'm admitting that.
Okay, well, I think it's totally unacceptable to interfere with someone's content like that. I think having a beef and having a fucking argument about it is fine. But you, regardless of what an annoying little wretch he's being, right, you are taking a step that is undermining his content. And I just think that's a step beyond whatever shit talking you're doing.
Honestly, and obviously you can disagree here because I can't prove this. But she was not going to speak to him anyway. I didn't do anything to actually stop him from talking to her, and I wasn't doing anything underhanded. So that's one part of it. Secondly, I would argue that the way he went about, I guess, trying to get this interview was really unhinged. He was spurging out. He was screaming. And I'm not even just saying pertaining to like, oh, he didn't ask me properly, but he was just going about it really ham-fisted. And
yeah, I don't care how ham-fisted he is. I just don't understand.
No,
you're saying, oh, well, I didn't do anything to stop it. That may be true, but you still messaged Lex with the message to not speak to Aiden.
Yes, I did.
So even if it wasn't your intent to stop the conversation, that's like very reckless. And I also don't understand why you're even bothering to continue to converse with this person.
It's reckless. I didn't really. Like, I interacted like cordially, but I had no part in her like going in any streams or anything. Had nothing, no involvement with any of
Well, I've been quite adversarial. I am very disappointed to see this, even with your explanation. I still think that you shouldn't interject or get involved in that way. You don't know what impact you are or not going to have. You said that you wanted to clear up what your interaction was like with Lex. So, I mean, what's that? What's happening there?
Oh, yeah, because like I heard towards the end of Aiden's stream when he was speaking to Queeman that he appears to believe that I genuinely like befriended Lex and was protecting her. I was not protecting Lex. I was protecting myself. I genuinely didn't want to get involved in facilitating anything, especially when it was always going to be some kind of adversarial conversation. I would have loved to see Aiden like interview Lex properly.
Well, then why did you take every step to stop that from happening, or a step to stop it from happening?
Because I felt okay. Well, I took that step because I knew that it actually would have no impact on her decision making, and B, because I felt that was appropriate retaliation for seeing him complaining about me publicly for days as if I'm not giving him something that he deserved, when literally the only interaction we had was that give me Lexus at why to harass I disavow. That was the only thing. He was complaining about it. He kept portraying as if I'm like not, you know, not facilitating something that I owe him. Like he didn't try to properly ask anybody or secure this properly. So like I don't think he's owed anything, and he was spurging out about it.
Well, no, okay. So
And
I would agree that, like,
Mhm.
if you don't want to, I mean, I think it's, you know, you've been treated very well, I think, by everyone in this community. You know, you were at the sharp end of something, and everyone came out to say how badly you were being treated, right? So it feels a little bit obnoxious that if you got a little bit that you can give back, you're not willing to give it. But that's okay. That's not that big a deal. It's not the end of the world if you don't want to do that. That's fine. I get you don't want to get involved, okay? However, even if you're saying it was just to put a message in Spicy Chat and go, fuck you, Aiden, I'm going to tell her not to talk to you.
yes,
I just feel like getting involved in any way that could cause an issue or undermine someone else is the wrong thing to do, especially when we're dealing with someone like Lex, who has acted so unreasonably and who you have been defended against by a lot of people, including, I think, Aiden as well. That's my perspective
sure,
on it.
I could agree with that. However, I also feel like, you know, I think sort of retaliation for Aiden just like, you know, shit talking me and like dragging me for absolutely no reason that I ignored.
Why not just shit talk
days
back? Why not just
publicly.
leave it as shit talking back? Because
well, in my opinion, that's what I did.
so he circumvented you, or went beyond you, which he could have done anyway, to get the details, and you decided to do that. It comes across it comes across very spiteful to me. I don't like it. I think it's unreasonable, especially when you've been so warmly received and defended by so many people. It's just disappointing behavior.
Sure, you can say that. I think I would be disappointed at how Aiden approached getting the Lex into.
Okay, what examples have you got of what Aiden did that was so bad?
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Okay, that's wonderful.
So,
but how do I make
so after
money
that conversation we had about
Aiden
the
was
like
being a
harass,
twerp.
disavow,
She
all
was
of that.
just messed with him back.
So yeah,
Is
so
it really
he
the
goes complains about it in Spicy. So obviously, like I ignore all that. Then more recently, once again, he's asked what happened on stream. He brings up that, oh, I wanted the interview. She refused to ask for it. And then he keeps basically spurging out and asking people for the information. So I'm nowhere near this. Like I have nothing to do with it. He keeps bringing me up.
This is nothing. This is literally nothing.
I know, but it's, well,
you got emotional. You got on your emotions because you're annoyed with him. Let's be real here. This is nothing.
I've always said that. Then he got into like beef with Mrao over like sending people to ask him for like it's whatever. It was just like spurging. So, but yeah, I was annoyed because like.
But how do I make money
why is he
off depressed people?
10K dream
presenting the
achieved.
situation
Merry
as if
Christmas,
like I didn't give him
Chud.
something that he deserved or even asked properly for, because that's not what happened.
This comes across as very bitter and spiteful, I must say. I mean, this is nothing. This is him just being normal level of Aiden annoying.
Let me just.
Have we not been good to you, Hellbent? Have we not been gracious? I personally feel like I've been very kind to you in your moment of need, getting squashed by these fucking bigger creators.
Okay, that's
I don't know, it just comes
So
across as bitter and spiteful. I don't like it. I'm not saying you have to do whatever I say, but all I'm saying is it feels unreasonable to even as a joke or even to get back at him in some way, to interject and do something which could undermine or influence his content in some way. And this is the examples you've got. Him just being a mildly annoying spurg. Just feels like nothing.
In my opinion, me like showing that screenshot of me like sending some shitty message to Lex, I think it was exactly the same.
The difference is
obviously, like you can.
In the Discord, it's just you talking, but you're involving this third party, this uncertain factor.
Okay, that's wonderful.
You are
But how do
potentially
I
having an
make
influence
money
on someone's
off
decision to
depressed
go on his
Makekun
stream.
became a member.
And
Makekun
I mean,
celebrates 16
you've sent the
months
message.
of
I don't know.
membership,
Maybe she wouldn't have gone
10K
anyway.
watching.
But I can't tell that in one way or another. I don't know
Okay,
what
that's
impact it did or
wonderful.
didn't have.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Yeah,
Even bigger,
I
he
can't.
was
I can't
dragging
say
her
that she
name and
wouldn't
she
have
probably thought it would
spoken to
stunt
him
her
anyway.
growth.
Even though I'm
Also,
pretty sure
Jake and Lex both suck are.
that's
They're
the
really
situation.
your winners
I
here.
agree. Yeah, it was bitter and spiteful because yeah, he was annoying me, and I have nothing
Okay.
against Aiden. And I was happy with how he handled the Jake interview. He asked like both questions that I DM'd him about when he was in that call.
Right, who are these laugh emojis? They're all getting banned.
Hmm.
Stylo, see to it. Okay, that's a joke. That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. What else have we got here?
I mean, that's it.
Why would you self-admit to being a snitch? Because it's funny to felt you. This is why you got bullied in school, which you admitted to, by the way, for some reason. Okay. What is that all about? You don't need to go into that, okay? Listen, let's be reasonable here.
Oh, the
Come on.
bullying in school.
Why is he mentioning that?
Well, that's just shit talking. He's referencing the Lex DMs where she talks about her bullying, and I say something to the effect like, "Oh yeah, I got bullied too. Kids will always find a reason." Something to that effect.
Okay.
That's what he's referencing. No, I don't care about that, obviously.
Yeah, okay. I mean, so yeah, I think that I can see you doing that. So to me, right, it feels like you got emotional and you were being very bitter about the whole situation, very spiteful. You believe it didn't have an impact. I don't think we can really discern that.
Yes, I agree, and I mean, I don't deny that. I was being bitter and annoyed because, like, I just I didn't like that. To me, like, Aiden was portraying it, whether that was like jokingly or not, that before I ever sent that message, he was already portraying it as I was stopping him from getting something that he was owed, which I wasn't.
Do you see how people could perceive you as something of like a double agent or dishonest or playing both sides to come out on top in this?
No, I don't see that, but
Well, okay, I don't necessarily see that, but I could understand someone thinking that way because it does come across like you've got this communication with Lex, which we can't really see or discern. Right? Like, when did this happen in relation to your backwards and forwards with the legal issues?
which part? The FYI don't talk to Aiden?
Yes.
Oh, that was yesterday. So that was basically the when he asked me for the ad like 2 weeks ago, that was after I already like closed DMs with Lex and leaked the logs, etc. So what happened was that when the song dropped, I left a comment saying like, "I forgive everything. This is fire." She added me on Discord, and my opening message to her was like, "Listen, like even if you threaten me, I still like the song." She started giving me explanation. She started, by the way, she never apologized or anything, but I don't care about that. She just started explaining to me how it was all Jake's fault, and I just said like, "Yeah, don't worry about it," because I never cared for her explanation or anything like that. So she asked me like, "Oh yeah, by the way, can you tell the commentary people they're free to use my song?" So that's all I did.
Okay.
Obviously, she kept talking to me. She did give me like more like detail around the breakup, but I was even asked for it like by somebody later, and I was like, I'm not gonna leak anything, not even because of ethical considerations, but because you can't trust a single thing she says anyway. Like,
I mean, all you're saying is making me think you're playing both sides, so you always come out on top. That's what it sounds like to me. You're talking to her and telling her what she wants to hear,
well,
despite the
what
fact.
would you like to know to convince you that that's not true?
Well, I guess I just want to know, what is your real take on this situation between Lex and Jake?
I think Lex is definitely the more schizo person, but they both suck. They try to blame to put the entire blame for their actions on the other person. So neither took any responsibility. Obviously, Jake's fault is mainly being just a pathetic loser who can't stand up for himself. But he definitely co-signed things. He definitely tweeted legal threats at myself and at Queeman himself. When Aiden pressed him about the FBI point that he made on the call, he tried to deflect by complaining about me. Luckily, Aiden pushed him to basically admit that he did lie. But yeah, obviously, neither of them's entirely blameless, but Lex is definitely somebody that has repeatedly
Okay, that's
shown themselves
wonderful.
to,
But how do I make
to
money
do
off
entirely
depressed
psychotic
people?
shit.
Whoever this girl is, just tell the truth. You didn't give Aiden the details because he was being very Jewish.
Okay.
His antics
Someone's
can be
just
summed up
done a
with
donut
his
about Ada
genetics.
being Jewish. I don't know. I think I've made my displeasure clear. I think this sounds so gay. I just wanted to talk to you, get your side of the story. And, you know, I am a bit skeptical about you and I'm a bit distrustful. Some of the stuff that you're saying to me, I'm a bit like, okay, so you're speaking to Lex. I don't know the nature of that. I'm not asking for anything in particular, but it just seems fucking weird that you'd have any ongoing communication with someone that's acted like this towards you that isn't some kind of curt, brusque, to the point, and moving on. That's very weird to me. But that's my take.
Say that, but that's always been like very public, literally. That I love that comment. She DM'd me that, and I immediately made that public because like, okay, here's what she said. I had like no involvement. Like I have no idea how she ended up on Rose stream or anything like that. I don't, and I've spoken to like, and whenever people like ask me about it, about like, oh, like what is your take, or like what's going on, I'm just like, well, obviously, like I'm not going to be like friends with this person, and like I don't believe anything she says.
Sure,
like,
I mean, you know,
I don't know what else to tell you. But like,
no, that's fine. I just, you know,
straightforward with everything in every communication with everyone. That's all I can say to you.
Yeah.
And I've never like tried to do anything underhanded. And
Okay, that's
Lex like
wonderful.
getting
But how do I
in
make
touch with me
money
again
off
after that
depressed
song,
people?
like
Hellbent
I
can't help
immediately
it.
made that
She
public.
has to play both sides of all interactions to maximize
Sorry,
the
we're getting
benefit
donor
to
ward.
herself. Unless the other terminally online attack her, then she tries everything she can to blue ball them, including Aiden's content.
Thank you for $50. I mean, I guess the only final thing I'd ask is, if you could do this differently, what would you do? If you could do it again, what would you do differently?
Well, I would just ignore Aiden's spurging out.
Okay.
And not be tempted to hang back, even though I thought that it had no impact in the end.
Okay, well, I think that's everything I've got in this case. Thanks for coming on and saying your side. I remain distrustful, skeptical, and concerned, I guess is what I'd say.
Well, I mean, I'm a woman, so that's really the best way you should be.
Yes, indeed. But you know, listen, I'm fair, too fair for my own good sometimes. I don't really have any further comments from there, but I don't know. I mean, there's a couple of things I've seen for you that I'm like, okay, this endless fucking conversation with Lex about the lawsuit thing, I could put that down to, you know, early creator fucking issues. Now this with the fucking Aiden thing, yeah, it's kind of strike two for me. I'm not trying to fucking put any pressure on you to do this, that, or the other. You can do what you want to do, but
So your issue is that I engaged in DMs with Lex at all.
It's well.
Okay, that's
it's not that you engage with Lex at all. I just think that you and I spoke about this when I covered it, right?
Yeah.
Let me take you out on a date.
I definitely, I agree. There was no need for me to do that. And
accept this date, baby girl, sir. I am Indian.
Okay, sorry. There was this dumb super chat thing. I'm just going to mute alerts for a sec, okay? Sorry. I mean, hang on a sec. Hang on. Sorry. I've just got to take issue. Is the issue... Did you listen to me talk... I know that you did. You listened to me talk about your conversation with Lex. Was my issue that you spoke with her at all?
No. You...
Right. So why did you say that then?
Well, I would say that what I got from your coverage was that well, there was absolutely like no reason to engage in those conversations because it was obviously empty threats. It was obviously malicious and trying to extract information, etc. Is that correct?
More or less, yeah. More or less, yeah. But I just feel, yeah, well, exactly. But then I I don't want to get too meta with this, but it's like you said something which you know just isn't correct to make it sound like my criticism was like worthless or pointless or stupid. When it's like, no, I feel like my criticism was pretty fair and substantive in what the issue was. So
I agree with your criticism, but
okay.
I didn't phrase. I didn't deliberately say something that I knew wasn't correct. I just phrased it poorly. My point was like, I don't believe you took an issue with anything specific that I said to her.
I mean, it created content, which was good for me. And this is all spun out, I think, as a part of the story of everything that's happened. But yeah, I just think there was some stuff you were doing which I was writing off as, okay, you're new to this, right? You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to understand it. I get that. And this Aiden thing is just another thing where I'm like, okay, like, are we going to have all these issues repeatedly? Because, you know, I think your video was good. And I think that there's a possibility that you could continue on and do good content and stuff like that. But I guess my concern is if you keep making these stupid fuck-ups, well, it's going to make it difficult to continue on in the space with any sort of reputation. Do you see what I mean?
Sure, yeah, and I mean, I totally agree that you know the choices I've made, such as to engage like with those Lex DM to the extent that I did, that was stupid. To act out of spite with Aiden, that was stupid. However, I guess like the only thing that I would really prefer for you and anybody else to take away from this is that I was being in any kind of duplicitous, because I've been very upfront with everything, and that's the reason why I asked you, like, well, you didn't take an issue with anything specifically that I said in those DMs. It was more like, well, it was just being dumb and gullible, and that situation at all, more or less.
Okay, well, anyway,
Yeah,
you said you wanted to come on because you wanted to tell your side of it. I'm ready to move forward with my coverage of this. Is there anything else
yeah,
you wanted
yeah.
to add or anything you wanted to say?
So you haven't listened to Jake's interview, did you? Not yet.
Not yet. I'm going to now.
Yeah. Oh, his response to the FBI question is pretty funny. Obviously, he lies there, but I think it's pretty clear even without me telling you that.
Okay. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Thanks. Bye. Hmm.